The halo and horn effect. First impressions can be deceiving. There was a woman named Evelyn who lived in a quiet neighborhood where everyone knew one another, or at least they thought they did. Evelyn was the kind of person who always wore a warm smile. Her silver hair neatly pinned back. Her posture straight with quiet dignity. She volunteered at the local library, helped organize community potlucks, and was the first to bring soup to a neighbor who fell ill. To most, she was the very picture of kindness. A halo of goodness seemed to follow her wherever she went. But then there was Martin, a new neighbor who moved in across the street. He kept to himself, rarely made eye contact, and when he did, his gaze was sharp, almost distrusting. His garden was overgrown, his curtains always drawn. The neighborhood whispered, why was he so closed off? Was he hiding something? Some even speculated that he must be unfriendly, perhaps even rude. The horns of suspicion had already been placed upon him before anyone had even spoken a full sentence to him. One rainy afternoon, Evelyn noticed Martin struggling with a stack of groceries. His arms full, his keys slipping from his fingers. She hurried over, umbrella in hand. Let me help you with that, she offered. He hesitated, then nodded stiffly. As she held the door open, she caught a glimpse inside his home, not the dark, unkempt space the neighbors imagined, but walls lined with books, a piano in the corner, sheet music scattered across a desk. You play? She asked. His guarded expression softened just a fraction. Used to. Not much anymore. Evelyn didn't press, but she returned the next day with a plate of cookies and an old vinyl record of Chopin's nocturnes she thought he might like. He stared at it for a long moment before finally saying, "My wife, she loved this one." His voice was quiet, rough with memory. That was when Evelyn understood. The drawn curtains, the silence, the way he seemed to carry an invisible weight. He wasn't unfriendly, he was grieving. Meanwhile, the same neighbors who adored Evelyn was stunned when, months later, she abruptly cancelled her volunteer commitments, stopped attending gatherings, became distant. The whispers started again. Had she grown cold? Had she always been this selfish? The halo had slipped, and now, suddenly, people questioned if it had ever been real at all. But the truth was, Evelyn had just received a difficult diagnosis. She was scared. She needed time. The thing about first impressions is that they're like sketches, quick, rough outlines of a person, filled in by our own assumptions. We see someone kind and assume they must always be that way. We see someone distant and decide they must be unkind. But people are not so simple. The halo effect makes us blind to flaws in those we admire. The horn effect makes us blind to the humanity in those we judge. Martin wasn't a recluse by nature. He was a man learning to live with loss. Evelyn wasn't suddenly selfish. She was a woman facing her own fragility. The neighbors had painted them in broad strokes, missing the finer details that made him whole. So the next time you meet someone, really meet them, ask yourself, what story am I telling about them before they've even spoken? And more importantly, what might I be missing? Because first impressions are not the truth. They are just the beginning. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.